The movie opens with a stylish woman named Alice. She's not just any woman. Alice is a professional magazine editor who's on a work trip to Brazil to take care of some business stuff. Once her job is done, Alice gets ready to fly back to France, her hometown. Before boarding the plane, she buys a small bird doll as a gift for her kid at home. Wanting a comfy trip, she chooses to fly business class. In the plane cabin, an older guy shows up offering to help put her stuff in the overhead compartment, but he's acting way too friendly and trying to get her attention, which immediately makes Alice feel annoyed and uncomfortable. In another part of the plane, there's a young guy named Balthazar who arrives super close to departure time. When he gets there, he finds a bratty little kid sitting in his seat and refusing to move. A flight attendant steps in, and instead of causing a scene, Balthazar gets moved to business class, right next to Alice. Throughout the flight, it's obvious Balthazar's never flown in such a fancy seat before. Meanwhile, Alice stays focused on her work, though she's clearly a bit uneasy around Balthazar's awkward but loud energy. When the plane hits major turbulence, Alice panics and instinctively grabs Balthazar's hand tightly. But after that, they don't talk, still super awkward with each other. Once the plane lands, Alice rushes off. In her hurry, she doesn't realize she drops her flash drive. Balthazar sees it and tries to catch up with her, but she's already been picked up by her sister and daughter. The car drives off, leaving Balthazar standing there, holding her flash drive, totally confused. The next day, Alice gets back to her office routine, but the vibe's not great. Her boss calls her in and gives her a warning about her declining performance. She's told to find new inspiration because her recent work's been just okay, not as bold and edgy as it used to be. After work, her ex-husband shows up to pick up their kid, who was scheduled to stay with him that night. Alice goes back to working again until she suddenly realizes her important flash drive is missing. She starts trying to figure out how to contact the passenger who sat next to her on the flight. After asking around, she finally gets Balthazar's number. Alice immediately calls him. At that moment, Balthazar's out partying with his friends. When he answers, he tells her he's already got the flash drive safe. Alice, totally panicking, asks him to share his location, then rushes to the club where Balthazar's hanging out. There, a tipsy Balthazar introduces Alice to a few of his friends. Without Alice knowing, 2 interns from her office also happen to be hanging out at that same club. Turns out, Balthazar didn't bring the flash drive, so like it or not, they had to stop by his place to pick up that important thing. They got ready to hop on his motorcycle. Alice, who's always lived by the rules and had never ridden a motorbike before, looked super awkward when she had to put on a helmet. In the end, Balthazar helped her put it on. It was an awkward but kinda sweet moment. But from a distance, the 2 interns from Alice's office were spying on them and recorded the moment. From their angle, it looked like Alice and Balthazar were hugging. Without thinking twice, they uploaded the video to social media. When they got to Balthazar's house, they were greeted by Balthazar's dad, who clearly just finished partying with his new girlfriend. Alice was a bit surprised, but pretended everything was normal. Without much small talk, they headed straight to the room to grab the flash drive. Once she found it, Alice quickly said goodbye. But before she left, Balthazar asked her to grab coffee together sometime. Unfortunately, Alice turned him down right away. She said she wasn't in the mood to deal with any love stuff. The next morning, the vibe at the office felt different. Alice started noticing people looking at her weirdly, whispering here and there. Turned out, the video of her and Balthazar had gone viral and got reposted by a bunch of accounts. Instead of getting mad, Alice's boss actually saw this as a breath of fresh air. He said maybe this could be the moment that brought back Alice's old work spirit. And he was right. Her work started to feel more alive again. Her boss also got more excited about giving her new assignments. Alice started thinking, maybe it's time to open her heart again. Not just about love, but to find new inspiration too. And this time, she wanted to try getting closer to Balthazar. With full determination, Alice completely revamped her look. From her hair, clothing style, to her shoes, everything changed. From looking all office-like, she now turned into a stylish woman who made every guy on campus do a double take. Alice went straight to the campus where Balthazar studied. With her brand new look that had nothing serious mom about it, Alice instantly caught Balthazar's attention. He came over and started chatting. They ended up agreeing to meet again that evening. That night, Alice took Balthazar to an art exhibit hosted by her friend. There, she confidently introduced him to her friends. Most of them were smoking weed, but Alice didn't join in. When someone offered Balthazar a hit, he firmly said no. He was done with that kind of stuff. Since both of them said no, Alice's friends started teasing them. But it was clear from that moment that Alice and Balthazar were starting to click, even though they came from totally different worlds. At this point, Alice started to lose control. She ended up smoking weed with her friends, and without realizing it, she kept going. Eventually, she got way too high and had to take a cab home that night. After that incident, Alice and Balthazar's relationship got more intense. Balthazar often picked her up in front of her alley on his motorcycle. They started hanging out and going places together all the time. One of their sweetest moments happened during her friend's fashion show. They danced together, and that night, Alice introduced Balthazar to her boss. After the event, Balthazar dropped Alice off at her house. That's when he started thinking this might be the right time to get closer. And he was right. Things got more intimate that night, starting with a hug that turned into something deeper. Balthazar ended up spending the night at Alice's place. But when he woke up, Alice freaked out because her kid was scheduled to come over that day. When Balthazar tried to leave in a rush, it turned out it was pouring outside. So Alice let him wait at the house until the rain stopped. While waiting, Balthazar started looking around her place. That's when he found out Alice was also a novelist, but her books weren't very well known. While they were chatting, Alice's kids showed up and immediately caught them off guard. Things got awkward real quick. Alice quickly told her kid that Balthazar was just an intern from her office who was waiting out the rain. Not long after the rain stopped, Balthazar said goodbye and left. Feeling like they were a good match, Balthazar asked Alice if she wanted to take things to the next level, but Alice was shocked and turned him down flat. She said everything was happening too fast. Even though being close to Balthazar gave her a boost at work, Alice still wasn't ready for a serious relationship. That rejection hit Balthazar hard. On the other hand, Alice didn't seem to care. She was even more fired up about her work, like nothing had happened. Eventually, the big boss from Alice's company came in person to handle a major project. When he saw the lineup of male candidates the team had prepared, he was super disappointed because none of them fit what he wanted. The employees racked their brains trying to find a male model, but none matched the boss's taste. Suddenly, the boss noticed Alice's laptop wallpaper. It was still a photo of Balthazar, and just like that, he insisted on making Balthazar the main model for their project. Alice didn't expect that at all, and got super awkward. She wanted to say no, but was scared it would mess up her career. In the end, she tried calling Balthazar again, but since he was still heartbroken, he didn't pick up. So Alice took the risk and went to his house. There, Balthazar's dad stepped in, hyping his son up so he'd look strong and manly in front of the widow he liked. They ended up grabbing coffee again. That's when Alice came clean. She told Balthazar she needed his help with her office project, but Balthazar was still hurt. He couldn't forget how Alice had shut him down so coldly before. And now she just showed up asking for a favor. So he turned her down without even thinking twice. Alice couldn't do anything. On one hand, she had to follow the boss's orders. But on the other, she didn't want to explain her personal mess at work, afraid it might ruin the career she had built. At the photo shoot location, Alice looked super stressed. The crew started getting anxious, constantly asking about the main model who still hadn't shown up. Alice was just about to admit that she failed to bring him. But then, out of nowhere, Balthazar showed up. He came with his dad, driving a sports car that instantly grabbed everyone's attention. The gloomy vibe he used to carry was gone. This time, Balthazar looked bold and confident. The photo shoot began, but since Balthazar wasn't a professional model, he was super stiff in front of the camera. His poses were awkward, his expressions confused. Eventually, the photographer lost it and started yelling at him non-stop. Balthazar, ears burning from the shouting, got mad and stormed off. Alice tried to run after him and begged him to stay, but Balthazar didn't listen and kept walking away. As a result, the whole project fell apart, and Alice got fired from her job. Losing her job left Alice completely lost. She felt empty and directionless. She tried contacting Balthazar through WhatsApp and Instagram, but she was already blocked everywhere. No access, no word from him. But instead of giving up, Alice boldly showed up at Balthazar's campus to find him. But because of her neat and mature appearance, people thought she was a substitute lecturer. Without hesitation, Alice walked into the class and stood in front of all the students. Right there, she tried to speak honestly to Balthazar. She apologized from the heart, admitting her mistakes and her ego. It wasn't easy to heal a broken heart, especially one that deep. But little by little, Alice's efforts started to reach Balthazar. And in the end, after everything they'd been through, Balthazar and Alice decided to take their relationship to the next level. The movie closed on a sweet note, a reminder that love and forgiveness can sometimes come from the most unexpected places.